Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm almost ready. I'm so excited to be coming and doing this with my awesome friend, Rose, who is exciting. So I'm going to go ahead. I am streaming to Instagram, it looks like, in a very weird way. So those of you on Instagram, just hang tight. And I am going to put the camera on Rose Lopiano. So Rose, let's talk a little bit about what you're doing today, who you are, what you do, why I adore you so much. All the things, and how you want to come hang out with me at Disney because we're besties like that.
We are besties like that. What is up, you guys? My name is Rose. I am so excited to be here. Kathy just proclaimed me as her adopted daughter, which is very exciting. I'm still recovering from blushing so hard. and I'm so excited to be back and leading you through a workout. But don't panic. It's going to be super easy peasy. It's going to be all standing and all chair. So we're not going to be going on the floor at all. So it's going to really encourage anyone who doesn't work out already that it can be fun and it can be easy. So we're going to chit chat, catch up a little bit, and then I'll lead you through the workout. It'll be about 20 to 30 minutes at most.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Sorry, Instagram people, we will go back to a better way for you to watch this in just a second. I should have thought ahead and stacked this a different way. But one of the cool things is we had Angela Fischetti on last week who did a workout. And so a lot of people were asking for things that would be not getting on the floor, some people who were having some mobility issues. So I love that this is in chair. And another thing that you were talking about is some of the equipment, which I'm very excited to hear and talk about. What would be some disclaimers? Are some of these exercises, obviously all exercising you need to talk to your doctor, but are there any, I forget what the word is, like when you're not supposed to do something?
Yes, so if anyone, number one, please do this routine if you are cleared to exercise by your physician. Number two, if you have any injuries or limitations, just take that on yourself to pace yourself. I'll show some modifications if needed. But if anyone doesn't know me, I am a fitness coach. So I have a coaching business all online, and we focus on menopausal women, so anyone over 40. So majority of our clients come to me and my coaches where they don't work out and they don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to be doing endless cardio. They want to just do something easy and effective. So we'll start them out with just 2 workouts a week, 30 minutes each, where they can do it at home with minimal equipment. So for this routine, it's going to be just like the routine that we give our clients. And you only need dumbbells, or you only need cans of beans if you have those, or if you have nothing, you can just use body weight and you can grab a chair, or if you don't have one, we could just do it standing. So it is going to be very beginner friendly, but please go at your own pace, and you know your body and you know your limitations. So if you feel any pain or any discomfort, definitely stop and just ease yourself into it.
I love that so much. And so like beans, that would be just like a normal 15 point whatever. Oh yes, Apple said the word I'm looking for contradicted. Yes, that was it. Apple, you win a prize. I feel like I need to start a game show with all the words I forget. But actually, Apple, I know I told you I brought you something back from Asheville. I still haven't mailed it. So I'm not a good mailer, but it will happen. So the cans of beans are just like the regular cans of beans that you would make dinner with, right? So if you don't have fancy weights, or if you're not like Cheryl, so when Cheryl and I got the Peloton and we found out that there were Peloton weights out at TJ Maxx, we went all to TJ Maxx and got the whole set that we don't use yet. So I see your weights back there and I'm like, oh, look, they're so pretty as decorations. That's how we have our den decorated.
Or a coat hanger, or helping with the dust collection, whatever it is.
But I really do want to start doing some weights. And so I like the idea. One of the things with Angela Fischetti we talked about too, because I do kind of like a downward dog, I do a plank, I do a cobra just from my counter, right? Because it's really easy to do when I'm stretching out. And so I love the idea that I can be in the kitchen wandering around going, oh, look, I have 2 cans of beans. Let me do some of Rose's exercises.
There you go. I once had a client that would do 10 squats every time she would go to the toilet. So all about the habit stacking.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. You know, that's a great idea. And do you want to talk just a minute about habit stacking for people who might not know, and maybe how the beans could be, the exercises you're doing now could be habit stacked?
Absolutely. So that's coming from Atomic Habits, that awesome book. So the main principle behind habit stacking is to take what you already do and then put a new habit with that. So everyone goes to the bathroom, everyone brushes their teeth, I hope.
One hopes.
One hopes. We don't know. Showering, who knows? I'm not even going to bring that one up. But
I showered last night. I just want everyone to know that I was so good.
Good job. You got a gold star. But whatever it is that you do, put a new habit right before it, right after it, to train your brain to do it. So my client, every time she would go to the bathroom, she would go, okay, boom, 10 squats, and then she would go to the bathroom. If you want to work out in the morning, a really good tip is to be putting your exercise sneakers right next to your bed. So you're going to trip over it, and then you're going to remind yourself to work out, or sleeping in your workout clothes. If you want to play guitar, put the guitar out in your living room, in sight, whatever it is, to just train your brain to pick that habit up. So for anyone that wants to start a new workout routine, it's easy to be consistent to something that makes you feel good and that you want to do and that is easy to do. So think about where you can put this routine in your day. Right in the morning, or right when you get home from work, before you go on the couch. Just try to put it somewhere where it's going to be easy for you to do it.
I really love that. You guys can't see, but my cat Fergus is trying to habit stack me at the moment. So he's come up and I've gotten the brush, so I'm brushing him because he's like, if I'm in your face, you will do what you're supposed to do.
See,
so look,
smart.
Thanks Fergus for being such a good example.
Perfect timing.
So you ready to get started? And I won't interrupt you unless there's some questions about what you're doing.
I am ready to get started. So if anyone is going to be doing this live with us or watching on the replay, what you can do is put your favorite tunes on, anything like that, but we'll be working out in silence with my lovely voice narrating all of us. I can start singing if you guys want me to. So ideally, my little videographers behind the camera are giving me an emphatic thumbs up for me singing. We'll get there, you guys. We'll get there. But what we're going to do is a full body workout. So the reason why we only work out 2 times per week at first is because when you are a beginner lifter, your muscles are just so excited to grow. So it's almost like a sponge, a dry sponge, getting filled with water. Your muscles are so excited and they're going to keep growing the rest of the week. So your muscles will still be growing 72 hours after your workout. So to build muscle, all you need is at least 8 sets of exercises per muscle group per week. So if you do a full body workout on Monday and you do 4 sets, and then you do a full body workout on Thursday and you do 4 sets, you're hitting the number of sets required to build muscle, and your muscles are going to continue growing the rest of the week. So by science, you are building muscle, and it's going to be really easy to stick to it when you're like, oh wow, I only need 2 workouts per week. So this is going to be a full body routine.
Can I ask you a question?
I
told you I wasn't going to interrupt you, and then like here I am. When you say a set, what do you mean by a set of exercises? So that would that be like doing the same thing 4 times?
You got it.
Okay.
See, Kathy is an exercise pro. I don't know why she has me on the show. You can do it all. You can whisper to the appliances. You could do the workouts. I mean, I'm just here to hang out, which I love, but you know it.
You guys, is Rose not the most fun person to hang out with? That's why I was like thinking, if I was going to do exercises I didn't really particularly want to start doing, A, she has all the facts and science behind it, but B, she's fun. Okay, I'll go back into my quiet corner again.
I can interrupt as much as you want. So we're going to start out, and I'm not going to do a warm-up, but ideally what you can do is if you want to go for a little bit of a walk before, or if you want to just give a full body shakeout, or whatever you need to do. But we're going to start off with a squat. So what you can do is I'm going to show you on the chair, because this is really, really easy for anyone that's never squatted before. You don't know the movement pattern. You can do this on a chair. Disclaimer, do not use a rolling chair. That is not what I'm recommending. This is a sturdy one. And if you have your cans of beans or your dumbbells, or you could do this without, you're going to hold it right at your chest. Your feet are going to be shoulder width apart, turned out a little bit. And you are going to stick your butt back to sit on said chair and then come up. And we're going to do this for 10 reps. So we're going to sit back, come up and exhale, 2, 3. And of course, if you are a pro exerciser, you do not have to use the chair. But the chair is for anyone who has never worked out before. You may not have the right form. Use the chair. 3 more. Exhale. Easy. 2. And 1 more. Perfect. So what I really like doing to save time is a superset. So we're going to go right into our second exercise. And this one is going to be for shoulders. So for full body, we're supersetting a lower body movement with an upper body movement. And we're going to rest after we do the pair. So we're going to do a shoulder press for our shoulders, and we're going to press up. 2, core tight. 3, 4, 5, we're going to go to 10. 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. Now we're going to take a little bit of a rest. So we just did 2 exercises. So that is a superset where you do 2 exercises back to back. I would say the majority of women who come into our program who have never exercised, they always say, Rose, I want to do different exercises each time. I want a different routine each time. I get bored, but you have to be a little bit bored to see results. You have to be doing the same exercises for your muscles to progress in them, but doing a superset can make it a little bit more fun and it saves you time and it's more efficient, and you're working lower body, you're working upper body, so your blood is flowing all through your body. So we're gonna give maybe 15, 20 more seconds. I like to give a good minute rest in between. And another thing too is I see a lot of women when I go to the gym, they're doing their lifting and then they're doing things like this, and they're doing jumping jacks, and they're doing all these things in between their lifting, but you do not need to do cardio in between your lifting. You should be taking your rest periods because your body is recovering and you need that energy going into your next set. Doing cardio in between your lifting sets really is not effective for the muscle building. Kathy, it's a good thing I'm so shy on this show. I feel like I just am, I just can't find anything to say.
Oh, no, that's why I like you especially. And so I like the way, so superset is doing 2 exercises at the same time.
Correct.
And what's interesting to me, Fergus has been rubbing over me on a black shirt, so I have hair all over me. Not that you guys can even see it, but that's just a confessional. So it's interesting that we're combining those movements, but you're saying to actually rest between sets, because I always feel like, oh, I should be tougher, I should be harder, I should push through this, I should exercise every day. Like, I definitely have, well, I'm an entrepreneur, so I have some of that type A mentality, right?
Yes.
So what do you suggest for people, just to do the thing and just be happy with doing the thing? Or do you have some things that you talk about?
I would say definitely do not be an overachiever. Do the right things effectively. If you do too much of the thing, then it's going to become ineffective. Less is more when it comes to lifting. So we're going to do one more set of that. So we're going to do our squat. So when you're doing a squat, a good thing to think about is you want both of your feet turning out energetically. So you want to imagine your feet are on dinner plates and your right foot is turning clockwise, your left foot is turning counterclockwise, where you're splitting the floor away when you push up. And you want to inhale and brace before you go down, and exhale on the way up. So we'll do 4 more. Push, split that floor away.
And you're not actually moving your feet. You're just actually putting that energy force. So you're putting more pressure on those parts of your feet.
Yes. Huh? Oh. I have some helpers behind the camera that are talking to me. Here we go. Okay. Next set, we're going to go right into, and we're only going to do 2 sets of these exercises.
I do have another question that I didn't think about asking before. So if we're not using our can of beans and we're new, what would be the size weight to start with?
That is a great question.
Because it would not be what you are using, because Rose is big and strong.
I'm using 12 pounds. I would say for your squat, you can use 10 pounds. For your shoulder press, you can use 5 pounds. When I first started lifting, I will never forget, I could not do 5-pound shoulder presses. I thought it was so difficult, and now when I am actually lifting, I can do 40 pounds.
No way. Oh my God.
I mean, that took 10 years. So just keep working at it. But no one needs to be lifting that much unless they want to.
What if you're having some, either you're having some issues or just basically you're super, super weak? Like leg-wise, I got some strength. Mm-hmm. Arm-wise, I don't. So now I might go ahead and try 5 now, but sometimes I wonder, is it even worth it to, if you can barely do it by yourself without any weights, should you start without weights, or should you even still try to do like a 1 pound and go as far as you could?
I would definitely say work up to it. Start where what you do is, and this is what we tell all of our clients in our coaching program that have never lifted before, where you want to start where you can do the full amount of the reps. So we just did 10 reps for those, right? So you want to be able to pick a weight where you can do all 10 reps with good form. So for example, if you're trying to do a squat and you're shaking in the knees like Bambi with your weight and your form is breaking, it's probably too heavy, right? So choose a weight where you can do all of the reps with good form. So if that's no weight, or if you can only do 2 to 3 reps before you drop it, do that. And then keep a journal. So then when you go the next week, try to beat the logbook from the week before. So if the week before you did 1 pound weights, next week try 2 pound weights.
Right.
And if you can only do 2 pound weights for 5 reps, then that's better than last week.
I really love that. And Terry Moses has a question on squats. If you need to use your hands to get out of the chair, how would you do that squat? So she's saying,
that's a good, yeah. That's a good, so what I would suggest is you can, number one, use a higher chair to start. You can put pillows to start, or you can have another chair or a bolster here where you're holding on, and then you can use your hands that way.
That's a great idea. I like the idea of having that other chair, because like maybe you would have, I'm seeing it in my head that the chair behind you, you would have one in front of you just the same way. So the back would be towards you so that you could reach it easily. And then I'm wondering, if you couldn't hold on to the weights, would something like wrist weights or a weighted vest be an option, or is that not a good thing for this?
You can totally do a weighted vest. I like that.
Okay, awesome. I learned a lot from Angela's talk the other day. She was talking about a weighted vest, and she was also talking about getting like 1/4 pound wrist weights, so that if you couldn't go from 1 pound to 2 pounds, you could kind of go up more incrementally for people who are working slower.
No, I love that. And I love the weighted vest. That's one of the things that we do with our clients in our online program, because when you are going through menopause, you're not only losing muscle, but your bone density suffers, right? So having a weighted vest, using that for your walks without bone loading really, really, really can help, and it can translate to helping you build more muscle as well. So that's a great idea to get a weighted vest.
That's awesome. And maybe we can either do another thing talking about weighted vests, or maybe you can come back in and put something in the comments about your favorite weighted vest, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Thank you so much, Terry, for asking that question. And everybody else who's here, if you have some questions, if you see some movements and you know you need some kind of adjustment to it, now's a great time to ask. Thanks, Rose, for being so patient with all of us.
Oh, of course. And then the Plant Life chose us on Instagram too. So if anyone just wants to DM me or email me, whatever it is, I will answer. So we're going to go into our next movement. So this one's going to be a little advanced, but I think we can do it. So the next one is going to be the deadlift. And this one is a very fundamental movement, and a lot of people do it wrong. So the reason why I wanted to bring this one up is because it's a very everyday movement. When you are picking something up off the ground, how many times do we just do this, right? And if you're actually picking something up, whether it's your grandchild, whether it's something that you dropped, and you're doing it incorrectly, that could lead to an injury. So when we are bending, we are doing the hinge movement, and that is the deadlift. So the hinge movement, and you're gonna love how I'm about to explain this. The hinge movement is when you are sticking your hips and your butt back first, and then coming up. and you're going to love this, Kathy. So it's going to be pretending that you are shining a flashlight out of your rear. That's the cue. So think of just, you have a flashlight and you're shining it. I mean, I love that creative.
But that works. Like, it's weird to think about it. So I'm bending over. You guys can't see me, but I'm bending. I'm like, it really makes sense.
Yeah. Or you have a big bag of groceries in your arm and you just need to shut the car door. So that's the hinge. So if you guys have never really done this before, so you want to start and just pull the slack out of your back. You want to keep a tight back. And then if you're using weights, you can use weights. If you don't want to use weights, just practice the hinge. And you're going to want to stick butt back, bring your weights down, and then come back up. I am not going all the way down. We're going to do 10 because I just want you guys to practice this hinge movement. Keep your chest up, keep your back flat, push your hips forward, butt back, hips forward, 4 more, butt back, forward, 3, 2, and 1. Any questions on that from you, Kathy, or the audience?
Yes, Miss Terry says the hinge is for, what is that helping with? I think it's
Great question, Terry. So that's your whole posterior chain. So it's going to be your glutes, posterior, your backside,
Okay.
Yeah. So your glutes, your hamstrings, your back. So our glutes are actually, I call them our movers and our shakers. Our glutes are really the biggest muscle in our body, and too many people won't really activate them. So like, for example, when everyone knows the saying, when you're bending, to really bend from, your rear and not really from your back. So if you are actively thinking about your glutes throughout your day, again, you can save yourself from potential injury. So instead of thinking when you're bending over that you're using your back, it's really like pushing your glutes back and then using that to drive all of your force. So it's working also your abs too, because you should be keeping your core engaged throughout when you're doing the movements.
Okay, that makes sense. So we do have a couple more. How many? You did 10, right? Isn't that what you did?
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
And I think it's Carl, Caryl Castro. Carl, I'm going to say. How much should you bend your knees? Because I couldn't tell. I was watching really carefully, and I can't tell because you have these like super strong thighs. So I don't know if I'm just seeing like the super strong thighs or if you're bending your knees.
You can do a soft bend in your knees. So there's different types of the hinge. So you could do just a soft bend. And then if you need to do it more focused on hamstrings, you can keep your legs like a little bit straighter. If you see the power lifters, they're going to be doing a full out, bending their knees and then coming up. But
okay.
Just a soft bend.
So what we want to do, so like I have hyperextended knees. So in general, because I have that, I'm always trying to make sure I don't lock out my knees. And that's easy for me to do. So I think, right? So you're just not wanting to lock your knees. And
Correct.
I would say to Miss Terry, I did throw my back out about 8 years ago, getting something out of the dishwasher, which I had never done before. I was stressed, physical therapy I had to do, and they were telling me to do some of these. And I will say, how you're explaining things is really, really awesome. I know I'm asking you a lot of minutia questions, but you're giving such clear instructions. I really appreciate that. And it is Carol is the name, and I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. I was confused. So thank you, and let's get some more in.
We're going to do our next exercise. So it's going to be the same hinge, but we're going to do a back exercise. So we're trying to hit every single body part, every single muscle group. So we're going to keep that same hinge. So feet shoulder width apart. We're going to bend over, and then we're going to pull and squeeze between our shoulder blades for 10. So like we're starting a lawnmower, pulling our elbows up, squeezing between our shoulder blades. This is working our back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So with that, that is called the bent over row. So thinking about it like you have a quarter, a little quarter right in between your shoulder blades, and you want to keep that quarter right up in there. So you're squeezing, and then you're thinking about the motion of pulling a lawnmower. And this is also translating to if you were to pull something up off the ground.
Okay, so just for one quick second, I put both of us here. So should you feel the same, like if you have your arms out and you're pulling your shoulders together, are you feeling that same thing? Would that be an okay way to explain it? Because I know I can lean over and I can kind of do this without doing that. That's not helping anything. Then I feel it somewhere else. Would that be correct, or am I not quite there?
You want to feel it kind of in your lats. So your lats and your middle back. So you don't want to be like hunching up like this and feeling it in your neck. You want to keep your shoulders pulled down and feeling it like in your middle back.
Perfect. And Apple has a request for next time. She was wondering if you can demo with some resistant bands or resistance loops. Do you use those at all?
That's great. Yes, I do. Banded is a great way to work up to heavier weight. And bands are also awesome if you're traveling. So, Kathy, when you and Cheryl are in Disney, I'll send you some bands and you can be busting out these moves in the hotel.
That's awesome. Yeah, maybe, well, we'll talk. We'll see about doing this. And also Jeremy, who is not a beginner exerciser. In fact, he does dragon boat racing and he does the rowing machine every day. So he's reminding us that the rowing machine hits that perfect. But everybody might not be ready for the rowing machine. And I tried one and I'm so short that someone had to hand me the thing so I could get started.
Sure, I know. Sometimes when you're in the gym, you're just climbing up on all the equipment just to reach it. Short girl problems. I'm with you.
How tall are you again, Rose?
Only 5 feet.
Oh, I'm 5'1.5". I tower over you. No, I'm sorry. All right, next exercise, please.
All right, we're going to do one more set of that. So I'm going to show again the hinge and the bent over row. So hinge, feet shoulder width apart, shining that flashlight. We're going to go down, soft bend in the knees, and then push your hips up. We're going to do 10 right here. 2, 3. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. 4, 5, halfway. Last 5. Back flat. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now we're going to do our bent over row. So it's going to be the same hinge where you want to keep your butt back flat, and then you're pulling. Keep your abs tight. Quarter in between your shoulder blades. Start in a lawnmower. 3. Exhale, 4. Halfway, 5. Last 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Awesome. Okay. Any last questions on those last 2 exercises?
Nothing so far. I think we answered all the questions.
Perfect. Okay, so we hit our glutes and our legs with our squats. We hit our shoulders. We hit our glutes again and our back. And now we're going to do our arms. So this is going to be our last superset of the day, which is exciting. And we are technically using our abs throughout that entire routine. So I always like to think of I'm wearing a corset where my front ribs are being drawn toward my pubic bone. My abs are nice and taut. So if you think about bracing your core the entire workout, you're technically working your abs the entire time. But when I come back again, if you guys invite me back, I think you will, hopefully, we can do a floor routine and we can do some targeted ab work. So we're gonna do our final superset. It's just gonna be a simple bicep curl and tricep. So we're gonna do my favorite, which is a hammer curl. So instead of flipping your palms up toward the ceiling, we're gonna keep our palms by our side and we're gonna do an alternating one. So we're gonna do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're gonna go right into our tricep. So our tricep is under here. So we're gonna put our, hopefully I shaved, I don't know if I did, but oh well, too late now.
I think it looks beautiful. It looks shaved to me, and don't worry about it.
Thank you so much. Here we go, 10. Gotta have fun sometimes. 9. Who here has forgotten their deodorant going to the gym? We've all done that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I use the little crystal thing too.
Oh, good. I feel like, Kathy, when I meet you in person, you're just gonna smell like Ninja Creami, just yummy, you know?
I'm gonna smell like sweet vanilla goodness.
Exactly, that's what I imagine. My friends have no idea. They're just laughing behind the camera. They're like, I promised them I'll behave today, but I can't behave with you, Kathy.
That's hilarious. Well, and the other thing is we'll probably, if you do come to Florida, you're just going to be like, wow, you smell like swampy human.
And you know I'll love it, so. All right, we'll do one more set.
About how long do you wait? Like a minute or two? Or just?
Yeah, I would wait a minute.
And while you're waiting, Jeremy was saying, since you do 40 pounds, Rose, does this even count as exercise for you? I think that
this is technically my rest day, Jeremy. Just saying.
And Mary Cooper wants to know what you're using 8-pound weights or 10 pound?
These are 12.
12-pound weights. Sorry, I can't see the number on them. Mary was asking that. And then Terry wants to know again the name for the one that you did behind the neck, the armpit one.
Yep, the armpit, the smelly armpit one. That's it.
I think that's a good nickname for it. Armpit. Yes.
Just do it. It's good for a little sniff check to see if your deodorant's still working.
See, do you know what? So this one would be perfect to do in the morning when you put your deodorant on to make sure you have enough.
See? Look at exercise translating into real life.
I like that. And Francine says everyone in Florida smells like pure humidity most days.
Hey, it's good to know. We all love each other there. 2. All right, we're going to do 10 again, second set. 3, 4. I started out as a group exercise instructor and personal trainer ever since I was 18. And I started with that on the side through college, through working. So this is bringing me back. I used to teach these back-to-back classes sometimes. I would just go all day. To be young again, Kathy, right?
I remember when I could do a lot more than I could do now, and it even changes from 21 to 26, right? You know?
Yes. That's why we're going to Florida together. We're practically the same person, same age.
That's awesome.
Okay, one more.
And yeah, I think this should be show your armpit the way you're shining a flashlight. Because I'm never going to forget that exercise as long as I live now. And I think that's really helpful. Though, seriously, because sometimes, you know, it's easy to think, oh, I need to tuck my stomach and put my hips back. And you're thinking 17 things, but if you're thinking shine the flashlight, it takes care of all of that. And like the armpit, like what I love is when you're doing it like that, you know, it reminds you what form to take too.
Yes, point 2 flashlights out from your elbows. See, that's a little more PG.
Okay.
So there we go.
I think armpits are G.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And then another one, which I like, is when you're doing deadlift, the same one with the OG flashlight, is think of yourself like Kim Kardashian and not Donald Duck. Because see a Disney reference, I'm ready. Kathy's taking me to Disney, if anyone came on late. But think about Kim Kardashian where you're sticking your butt out, and then Donald Duck has that like hunch, so you don't want to be like that. And then I'm trying to think if I'll think of some more references for next time.
Okay, no, but I love these. So is that our whole set?
That's our whole workout.
What?
See, we were just chatting, having a good time, and we just did a full body workout.
That's super easy.
Yes.
I even did it along without weight. I didn't grab any beans or anything. I figure I would concentrate on the form. So when I'm learning something new, my neurospicy brain sometimes needs to do it and see what the movements are and then add something else in. Yes. But you were very, very clear on everything, and I really appreciate that.
Good. That's a great point for anyone watching on the replay. It is okay to not use weights, especially if you've never worked out before. You're still working.
Oh, Apple says the hinge always reminds me of those toy birds that sit on the side of a cup and dip down into the liquid and bob back up.
Oh, Apple, I love that.
Yeah, and Terry's saying doing this twice a week is very doable. She didn't have any cans either, and that's fine. You guys know I'm a big TJ Maxx kind of shoppery person. Mm-hmm. So they almost always have small and large weights there. You can usually go anywhere from 1 pound to 20 pounds. And usually they're not very expensive. Sometimes you can find them in the thrift store. Someone cleaned out their coat hanger exercise room. So that's another inexpensive place. But I do like the beans. Like, I think one thing that can be easier sometimes is that you have something smaller. But when you got up, I don't think we have any water jugs. Like, so if you got up a little bit higher, could you use something like water jugs?
Yeah, water jugs can work. When we were in lockdown, definitely got creative. Water jugs, you can fill a backpack with books.
Oh.
That could be more for like a squat. You can hold it, or a deadlift.
And that could be what someone could do if they couldn't afford a weighted vest yet, but they can't actually use weights. I like that.
Yes.
And Apple said handled jugs filled with water she's used as well. Empty laundry jugs. Oh, that's a good idea too. So if you have some stuff ready to go to recycling and you're not going for a while, you can fill it up with water, and that way you can fill it up with the amount of water you could do today. And maybe
Yes.
it's a quarter of the way today, half the way in a couple of weeks.
Exactly. I love that.
Excellent. Do you have any other parting words for us? And don't close out when I close out with everybody.
Okay. Parting words. I would just say, I have so much to say, Kathy.
Well, say it all.
Okay. Say it all. Okay. So number one is that you are working, even though it might not feel like you just did a Peloton class or an Orange Theory class. To build muscle sometimes is a little bit boring. So you are working. My friend behind the camera, Brittany, she worked out 3 days with me and she was sore.
Yeah.
So less is more. It might be boring. You don't have to be spending hours and hours on end. But for everyone watching this who is going through perimenopause or in postmenopause, that's what I specialize in with my coaching program. And for anyone that's just watching this, I am younger. When you come to my coaching program, I have coaches that work with you that are older. We're all menopause coaching specialists. So when you come to my program, it's very important to be doing the weight training because you are actively losing muscle when your hormones shift. And to protect yourself, to be able to play with grandchildren, pick up things, load and unload the dishwasher with ease. Lifting is the key. So even if you feel like, oh my gosh, Rose, that was so boring, or I don't want to do it, it's very important for your longevity. Walking is great too, but adding these 2 workouts in is super duper key. And start small. Stack the habit either right in the morning or before your afternoon cup of tea or when you get home from work. And then reward yourself, in 21 days from now when you have your habit, buy yourself a Ninja Creami or a Vitamix or a new outfit or do something fun. And then you're going to start loving it when you fall in love with the process. That feeling of pride that you're going to get when you wake up early and you did it, or when you didn't want to and you did it. That feeling is going to become something that's going to drive you.
I totally agree with that because a lot of times, even if I just walk during the day and get that done, I've accomplished something. I know I've done something I wanted to do and something that's good for me, and then I feel better tomorrow. Because I think one of the things that people don't think about too is any kind of movement is also really good for your mental health, right? And absolutely. I do have some questions now. So, this is more of a caution from Happy Vegan Couple. There's 2 things, so I'll read both of them. For your older viewers, I'd like to share a caution. After my 68-year-old husband had shoulder surgery, I started wondering if doing resistance where I lift weights over my head was such a good idea. She asked the surgeon and physical therapist if she should keep doing these at 71, and they said no, so I've stopped. But I do lots of resistance, and at 72, I can lift a 40-pound barbell 15 times. So
that's
do you have...
amazing.
We suggested before, of course, you should talk with your doctor, and obviously, like, let's say, if you just had hip surgery, maybe the flashlight you wouldn't be doing for a while. So certainly if you have an issue or you're working, maybe you have menopausal frozen shoulder, right? Which is very common at that point. I've had some come and go a little bit, but then I had a friend who had to have surgery. So she might have to talk to her doctor, whereas mine's fine now, right?
And that's just, again, the beauty of the way that we all eat, because a lot of these menopause symptoms are driven by inflammation. If you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, you're lowering your inflammation. So don't neglect, having all of your leafies. Don't neglect drinking your water. things like that are going to help you feel better overall. But yes, if you have an acute area that is causing pain, frozen shoulder, shoulder surgery, hip, bad knees, definitely do not actively participate in the exercise.
That makes sense. And TS is asking, if you can't do a normal squat or lunge, is there a way to replicate the movement while on a bed or laying down?
Yeah, so if you lay down, you could do a glute bridge. So you could do this in bed.
You may have to go back towards the chair a little bit because you're kind of cut off a little bit.
There we go.
You were like, I was set up perfectly before, Kathy. Why'd you make me move?
Okay, there we go.
All right.
So if you're laying down, your feet can be, scooching back. Is that good? More.
A little bit more, yeah. If you can go just a little tiny bit more, that would, she just zoomed in on you. Okay, now she's zooming out. You're good now.
Okay.
I was like, where did all that room go?
Feet shoulder width apart, and then just bridge up, hips to your ceiling, and then come back down. So this is also going to be working your backside, and you can do that on the floor or in bed, wherever you need.
That's one of my favorite yoga exercises, actually.
Yeah, it's comfy.
I feel like it kind of gets your back in alignment a little more too, so that's really nice. And Tia says, unfortunately, I can't get down or up off the floor. So she's saying you could be in bed and then do that, correct?
Yes. See, that's a great habit stack, TS. Right when you wake up, right when you go to sleep, knock out 10, and you're good.
See, that sounds awesome. Yeah, and actually Apple's saying you can do this bridge in bed, that she does it as well. And I think that's important to remember, is that it's always okay. We want you to ask these questions because there are other people who aren't asking that maybe need these modifications. But wherever you are on as far as your capabilities or what you can do one day versus the next, you can always kind of modify things. And
absolutely.
Oh, and Apple's saying you could put a pillow or a pile of blankets under your sacrum to lift it up if you don't have the strength to do it. So that's another idea. Or would you suggest a different way to start if you just really didn't have a lot of strength?
I think that's a perfect idea.
Awesome. Well, we already have one person that says, please bring Rose back. So
yay! Is it Cheryl coming on from her work call?
No, and I'm trying to find it. Shoot. There's so many comments now that but you knew you were coming back anyhow. I adore Rose. I like the way that you're so you make things easy, accessible, and you give good, clear descriptions because in cooking, I try to do the same thing because not everybody knows what everything means. So having these small starting places is really good.
Yes.
And I just want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this with the audience. You guys, if you love Rose, make sure to go down in the description. There's a link to her freebie. Do you want to talk about your freebie for a minute?
Yes, I have a free ebook in the description. Click on it. Just put your email in. It'll email to you. And I am The Plant Life Chose Us on Instagram. I have a coaching program all online for specifically women that are going through perimenopause or postmenopause who are whole food plant-based vegan. So you wouldn't directly work with me. I have a team of 6 coaches and they're all older and amazing. And if you just have any questions about the exercises that I did or exercising in general or maybe how to eat, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a DM on Instagram or an email. I am The Plant Life Chose Us.
That is awesome. And so we got TS says looking forward to her coming back. Alyssa says, yes, please bring her back on. Apple says, I wish I had enough energy to share some accessible yoga classes because she used to be a yoga teacher.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a pretty awesome person. But I love the idea of you doing some resistance bands, and we can talk. You'll stay on and we'll talk about. 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 if you want to come on again and what that looks like. Okay.
I would love to.
Roxy said, yes, Rose is awesome. And
Yay,
I agree.
thanks, Roxy.
All right, guys, then we're going to go ahead and let you go. Have the rest of your day. Now you've exercised, so you can feel very smug and proud of yourself. All right, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. when Chef AJ's going to come on, and we're going to make some yummy desserts from her new book, Sweet Indulgence. So you've got to come hang out for that, okay? You'll be there, won't you, Rose?
I'll be there, of course. That book is so good.
Oh, okay. Lisa wants to know, okay, for the fun of it, you do not have to answer this question if you don't want to. How old is Rose? So inspiring.
I say guess in the comments, and then I'll reveal it the next time I come on.
Ooh, I like that. Everybody guess how old they think Rose is. And put it in the comments. And not the chat, so if you can put it down by the video, she'll be able to see it. She won't be able to see the chat for a little while. But anyhow, you guys have a really good day, and I will talk to you very, very soon, okay? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.